Hi everybody. So I'm sorry it's been a while since I was able to do an update on a video. With the whole quarantine going on, it's been difficult to get some things done. To reach out and give everybody an update on how I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of things behind the scenes since we've been on quarantine. I haven't been able to get a lot of doctor appointments, and that's partly why I'm doing this just sitting here. A lot of my doctor appointments have been over the telephone. So I'm going to give you an update on the last two that I had. I saw the bariatric surgeon. I have my notes over here on the side, so bear with me if I turn my head. I saw the bariatric surgeon, Dr. McDonald, on March 19th, and I did see him in his office. I don't really have any videos or pictures to take from there because it was right in the beginning of the whole quarantine or pause or whatever we're calling it, and I wasn't able to use my phone. So the first thing we did was when I met up with the doctor is we went over the qualifications for the procedures and the different types of procedures there are. So we reviewed my BMI, my age, the fact if I do drugs, alcohol, smoke, which those were all no's except for the social drinking. We documented, or I gave him information about my documented weight loss, attempts that I've done in the past. And then we talked about a personal commitment and how and why I feel now is the time that I want to go through with this and get my life back and become healthy again. And there was a lot of things that we talked about. It got very in-depth and very personal. It was a nice visit. Then we went over the options and the types of surgeries. And there's 3 types that his office does. There's the gastric bypass, and a quick description of what that is. Putting it as simple as I can, it's basically where they take your stomach and they make it into a teeny tiny little tiny stomach, and then they take your intestines, your small intestines, and they split them. One end of your intestines goes back to your stomach, your new teeny tiny one. The other end goes down to your lower intestines, but it's still your small intestines, so it makes your tract much shorter. That's the gastric bypass. The gastric sleeve is basically just that. They remove about 80% or so of your stomach. It almost looks like, in the pictures we were showing, it almost looked like a banana, you know, a little teeny tiny banana. It was really cute. However you want to determine cute. And then it gets stapled with these like uber staples that stay with you forever. And so there's the sleeve, and then there's the duodenal switch. The duodenal switch literally combines the bypass portion of the gastric bypass and the sleeve portion of the sleeve. So those were the 3 options that we had. My choice is to do the sleeve. However, because of some of my medical history, we're not sure if that's what we're going to be able to do. So the actual gastric bypass is also on the table, and I'm hoping we will be able to determine which one I can get soon. After the complete personal history that we did, the health history we did, one of the questions he came up was a question about my gallbladder, and he asked me if I had had gallbladder issues in the past, and I told him I had not, to my knowledge, had gallbladder issues. And he said some of what I was talking about with my health history implied that there could have been problems. So he ordered an ultrasound of my gallbladder to take a look at it and see what's going on. However, the medical, the state went on pause, and I was not able to get my ultrasound yet for my gallbladder. So that's kind of a pause that we're doing for me right now. He also requires an endoscopy, and an endoscopy is basically that. They go in and they look at your whole digestive system through your throat, and they look to see if the heartburn, or GERD as it's also called, has caused any permanent damage to your esophagus or your stomach. And then that also helps determine which procedure we will have. Endoscopy, of course, is again pause. The last thing we did was talked about the blood work, and they were able to do that because they did it in-house. So I left his exam room, I walked across the hall and went into a little lab, and they drew my blood. They took 5 vials of blood. It was crazy. I used to be a phlebotomist, so it doesn't scare me or anything, which was fun to watch other people do it. So that's where we stand there. The final thing we talked about before I left with Dr. McDonald was the things I need to do to prepare. We talked about how much weight I needed to lose. And one of the things that not only am I going to change my eating habits, and I'm not calling it a diet, I'm calling it just a change of my eating habits, because I'm not considering this a diet. A diet to me is something that you try, it fails, you move on to the next fad that's out. I'm changing my eating habits. I'm not going to look at food the same way, and I'm consciously working on that. But I'll talk about that more when I go over the appointment with the nutritionist. But one of the things that he said we needed to do was to exercise, and his requested, suggested, whatever word you want to use, his suggestion is 20 minutes, no less than 3 days a week. Well, that's easy, especially being on quarantine. I walk the dogs. I had a dance party in the house with my neighbor. We social distance, don't worry. I've done a lot of yard work, raked up all the leaves that I didn't do because I didn't want to do last fall. That's all removed. I'm working on rearranging some of the plants that I have planted and some bushes. I did that. So that's all counting as exercise, because believe me, it's a lot of work. And then I have a follow-up next Friday, and hopefully I'll be able to do the update sooner than that. I was having issues trying to figure out how to use a tripod and make these videos work. The next thing was on April 1st, I had an appointment with the bariatric nutritionist. Her name was Dr. Santoro, and that was a phone call appointment because obviously the offices are closed. But wow, how motivating was that appointment? It was great. She was very easy to talk to. She was very understanding of what I ate and how I ate and everything. And we discussed the way I was eating now, being on this pause that we're on, and how I eat when I drive the school bus for work. And obviously I eat completely different in the two different scenarios, which is fine because different scenarios, you know, I have different times, I have different everything. I have more flexibility now, so I'm eating a little bit healthier now because I'm home, whereas when I'm working, I'm up and out of the house so early in the morning. I'm out of my house at 5:30 in the morning. So I'm up at like 4:15 to walk the dogs and eat something for breakfast, get some coffee in me, and get to work. So it's nice now that I have the free time in the morning that I can actually sit down and eat some yogurt or a hard-boiled egg. So it was nice to have that. So we talked about the way to eat when I'm home, because that's the issue we're in right now. That's the situation we're in right now. We talked about what I am eating and what I should be eating, and how to eat what I am eating, how to eat it healthy. That got a little hard because I am all about chips, dips, nachos. I am all about that. I could go without a candy bar or the chocolate bunnies. I could go without all of that. Even the ice cream, I'm hit or miss on. But you offer me a bag of Doritos, I'm all over it. So we talked about the different things to eat and how the different things to eat will affect me. So we came up with a system that I'm going to eat, instead of counting the grams for now, because that seemed a little overwhelming to me. We're counting the number of servings. So I can eat a serving of meat. I can eat a serving of vegetables. I can eat a serving of pasta. And then she broke down to me that pasta is not uncooked, it's cooked. So it was like 1 cup of cooked pasta is a full serving. I'll tell you what, I've been doing this now for 15 days, and I can barely eat a whole cup of pasta now. But she gave me a couple of recipes to do. She gave me a great chicken soup recipe, a pasta sauce recipe. I tried both, and I've made both of them, and they came out awesome. As a matter of fact, for breakfast this morning, I had the last of my chicken soup. So that was great. Also, she convinced me to try cooking and making new things. I have eaten eggplant before, but I have never cooked eggplant. It always intimidated me. How do you cook it? What do you do? What if it comes out gross? It's rubbery. So I bought an eggplant. I went online and I figured out how to roast an eggplant, and I followed the recipe, put it in the oven, I roasted it. Oh my gosh, it was like eating tater tots. So I was like, whoa, if this could substitute my tater tots, that is an awesome thing. I also tried for the first time cauliflower pizza. I was, again, very skeptical. I'm from New Jersey. Pizza is awesome down there, and it's so good. So I was very skeptical and very cautious, but I will be honest, it was better than I thought it would be. It didn't have the crusty, doughy texture, of course, but it tasted like a thin crust pizza and that's basically what it was. So it was great. Also, when I was talking with Dr. Santoro, we went over all of the blood work. Dr. McDonald's, one of his nurses, had called me earlier in the week and told me that my vitamin D was extremely low. So she put me on some vitamin D that I'm going to take every week. So I picked Saturday so that it was the same day, the same time, no matter what. When the pause is over and I go back to work, I don't have to worry about it. Dr. Santoro told me that my vitamin B was low, so she put me on some vitamin B as well. And she did an A1C in all those vials of blood work. They did an A1C, and an A1C is basically, it measures your blood glucose over a 3-month period. And that, she was a little high. She didn't like the numbers. So she suggested that I take a pill for it at dinner. She didn't tell me I was diabetic, but she said the numbers were high. So that's a good thing. I'm not officially being classified as a diabetic. That would change some things as well. But I'll take the precautions, and I'll take the pill at dinner time now. Basically, that's all I've got right now. I've got another appointment, like I said, scheduled next Friday. Again, I apologize for not having so many videos out. It's kind of difficult right now. Maybe I'll do a snapshot video of the way I'm exercising. I hope everything is going well with you, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.